Hello students, I am Dr. Manju Bala Yadav, Associate Professor in Chemistry, Government College, Kota. Today we will study about the types of reactors, reactor design and components. Let us see what are thermal, intermediate and fast reactors. So we say that reactors are conveniently classified according to the typical energies of the neutrons that cause fission. Neutrons emanating in fission are very energetic. Their average energy is around 2 million electron volts, that is nearly 80 million times the energy of atoms in ordinary matter at room temperature. As neutrons scatter or collide with nuclei in a reactor, they lose energy. This action is referred to as downscattering. The choice of reactor material and of fissile material concentration determines the rate at which the neutrons are slowed through downscattering before causing fission. So students, we say that here the classification of the reactor is on the basis of the typical energies of the neutrons that are causing fission. The neutrons which are emanating in fission are very energetic, and average kinetic energy is great amount 2 million electron volts. And as neutrons they scatter or they collide with nuclei in a reactor, they lose energy. So the action by which the neutrons they lose their energy is the downscattering. Now, how this downscattering occurs? So we say that this occurs by the moderators which are being used, and which moderators we use: water, heavy water, beryllium, metal and oxide and graphite. So the neutrons they lose energy most efficiently by colliding with light atoms such as hydrogen, deuterium, beryllium and carbon. Now water and heavy water, they are used both as coolants and they perform the function of moderators also. Now we say that in thermal reactors, the disadvantage is that when we slow down the speed of the neutron, so sometimes it slows down to such an extent that it does not undergo fission, and simultaneously uranium, suppose we are taking uranium 235 and plutonium 239, so they capture the neutrons and they transform themselves to uranium 236 and plutonium 240, and which are not fissile. So this is one of the disadvantage of thermal reactor. Now we see that what are intermediate reactors and what are fast reactors. So we see that the neutron capture is very low at higher energy level than at thermal energies. To achieve high energy levels and promote fission over neutron capture, a reactor can be built to operate without a moderator. So to avoid the above problem, we see that we do it at high energy level only, and for that we remove the moderators. And so depending on the number of scattering events that take place with heavy atom before fission occurs, a typical fission causing neutrons may have energies in the range of 0.5 electron volt to thousands of electron volts, that is the intermediate reactor, or several hundred thousand electron volt, that is the fast reactor. Okay, so in the thermal reactors, the speed of the neutron was slow, but here the speed of the neutron, the energy energy of the neutron, it is very high. Now, fast reactors can be designed to produce more than one new fissile atom for each fissile atom destroyed. We know that in a nuclear reaction, the nuclear neutron it bombards the heavy atomic nuclei and making it to the result is fission products we get. So one fissile atom is destroyed. Before that, one more new fissile material is produced. That is the importance of that is the basic of fast reactors, and these are called breeder reactors. Breeder reactors may become important if world demand for nuclear power turns out to be long term, and if access to naturally available sources of fissile material becomes limited. In the long run, when the population is increasing and our coal and other water and other things by which we are producing energy, hydroelectric, thermal, they will be minimized. So in the long run, this method of producing energy will be very important. Now, if we see the reactor design and component, we see that the basic infrastructure, basic design is that the nuclear reactor consists of moderator, control rods. It consists of moderator, control rods, nuclear fuel, coolant, biological shield, and the reflectors. If we see the core where the fuel system is concentrated, it consists of the fuel cladding, coolant, and the moderator. This is the fuel assembly, upper grid plate, control rod, drive assembly, reactor, pressure vessel, fuel assemblies. So this is the basic core where we find the fuel and the control rods and the moderators. Now, if we see what type of fuel we are using, it is heterogeneous. That is, it consists of the fissile material along with the diluent. And the diluting agent, it may be fertile material or simply material that has good mechanical and chemical properties and does not readily absorb the neutrons. All diluent acts as matrix in which the fissile material can stably reside through its operable life. So what is a diluent? It acts as a matrix in which the fissile material which we are taking, it stably resides. In solid fuels, the diluted fissile material is enclosed in a cladding. And what is a cladding? We say that the thin film metal tube, thin walled metal tube that forms the outer jacket of a nuclear fuel rod. It prevents corrosion of the fuel by the coolant and the release of fission products into the coolant. So cladding, it is a substance that isolates the fuel from the coolant and minimizes the likelihood that radioactive fission products will be released. The most common type of fuel which we use in the nuclear reactors is the uranium aluminum alloy with an aluminum cladding. The uranium is enriched to slightly less than 20%, while silicon and aluminum are included in the meat of the plate to serve as the diluent and fuel matrix. So the important fuel being used is uranium aluminum alloy with an aluminum cladding, and enrichment of uranium, that is 20%, and silicon and aluminum, they serve as the diluent and the fuel matrix. Although aluminum has lower melting point than other cladding materials, the flat plate design maintains a low fuel temperature, as the plates are often barely more than 1.25 millimeter thick. A common variety of research reactor known as TRIGA, that is from Training Research and Isotope Production Reactors, General Atomic, employs a fuel of mixed uranium and zirconium hydride, often doped with small concentration of erbium, and the whole clad in stainless steel. If we see the fuel type, a reactor's fuel must conform to the integral design of the reactor as well as the mechanism that drive its operations. Following are the brief description of the fuel material. Here we see the assembly for a pressurized water reactor. It consists of the top nozzle, the fuel rods, the control rods, the grid spacers, and the bottom nozzle. Now, the most widely used commercial power generation in the world employs LWR, that is a light water reactor, and it consists of pellets of sintered UO2, that is uranium dioxide, loaded into cladding tubes of zirconium alloy or some other advanced cladding material. The tubes, which are called pins or rods, they measure approximately 1 centimeter in diameter and roughly 3 to 4 meters in length. The tubes are bundled together into a fuel assembly with the pins arranged in a square lattice, as we have seen in this diagram. The different fuel rods, the bundles of the fuel assembly with the pins arranged in square lattice. The uranium used in the fuel is 3 to 5% enriched, since light water used in LWR, that is light water reactor, as both coolant and moderator, tends to absorb more neutrons than other moderators do. Such enrichment is crucial. Now, if we talk about coolants and moderators, the material which are being used are light water, heavy water, air, CO2, helium, liquid sodium, potassium alloy, and hydrocarbon oils have been used as coolants. They are very good conductors of heat, and so they serve to carry the thermal energy produced by fission from the fuel and through the integral system, finally either venting the heat directly into the atmosphere or transporting it to the steam generating equipment of the nuclear power plant. So here this is how the energy is produced. The coolant that carries the energy produced by the fission, it is carried to the steam generating equipment of the nuclear power plant. In many cases, the same substance functions both as coolant and moderator, as in cases of light and heavy water. The moderator slows the fast neutrons emitted during fission into energies at which they are more likely to induce fission. So, the moderator plays a very important role in carrying out the fission process. In doing so, the moderator helps initiate and sustain a fission chain reaction. Now, what are the reactor control elements? We say that reactor is equipped with three types of rods: safety rods for starting up and shutting down the reactor, regulating rods for adjusting the reactor's power rate, shim rods for compensating for changes in reactivity as fuel is depleted by fission and neutron capture. And all reactors, they need unique elements for control, and control can be achieved by varying parameters within the coolant circuit or by varying the amount of absorber dissolved in the coolant or the moderator. So we say that the most important function of the safety rod is to shut down the reactor either when such a shutdown is scheduled or in case of real or suspected emergency. If any emergency occurs, so the safety rods, they act in a prompt manner to shut down the reactor. Okay, so these rods, the safety rods, they contain absorber. They contain enough absorber to terminate a chain reaction under any conceivable condition. They are withdrawn before fuel is loaded and remain available in case a loading error requires their action. After the fuel is loaded, the rods are inserted to be withdrawn again when the reactor is ready for operation. The mechanism by which they are moved is designed to be fail-safe in the sense that if there is a mechanical failure, the safety rods will fall by gravity or some other safe means into the core. So, the safety rods, they fall by gravity into the core. In some cases, moreover, the safety rods have an automatic feature such as a fuse which releases them by virtue of physical effects independent of electronic signals. Thank you. So, this was, we told you about the thermal reactors and how moderators and coolants, they play an important role in carrying out the nuclear reactor process, nuclear reactor reactions. Thanking you. Thanks.